The following is a partial accounting of financial costs of the 2003 Iraq War by the United States and the United Kingdom, the two largest non-Iraqi participants of the multinational force in Iraq. U.S. war costs, direct costs. The costs of the 2003 to 2010 Iraq War are often contested, as academics and critics have unearthed many hidden costs not represented in official estimates. The most recent major report on these costs come from Brown University in the form of the costs of war, which totaled just over $1.1 trillion. The Department of Defense's direct spending on Iraq totaled at least $757.8 billion, but also highlighting the complementary costs at home, such as interest paid on the funds borrowed to finance the wars. Those figures are dramatically higher than typical estimates published just prior to the start of the Iraq War, many of which were based on a shorter term of involvement. For example, in a March 16, 2003 Meet the Press interview of Vice President Dick Cheney, held less than a week before the Iraq War began, host Tim Rozek reported that every analysis said this war itself would cost about $80 billion, recovery of Baghdad, perhaps of Iraq, about $10 billion per year. We should expect as American citizens that this would cost at least $100 billion for a two-year involvement. Appropriations. FY 2003 Supplemental, Operation Iraqi Freedom, past April 2003. Total $78.5 billion, $54.4 billion Iraq War, FY 2004 Supplemental, Iraq and Afghanistan Ongoing Operations Reconstruction, past November 2003. Total $87.5 billion, $70.6 billion Iraq War, FY 2004 DoD Budget Amendment, $25 billion Emergency Reserve Fund, past July 2004, total $25 billion, $21.5 billion Iraq War, FY 2005 Emergency Supplemental, Operations in the War on Terror. Activities in Afghanistan. Tsunami relief, past April 2005, total $82 billion, $58 billion Iraq War, FY 2006 Department of Defense Appropriations, total $50 billion, $40 billion Iraq War. FY 2006 Emergency Supplemental, Operations Global War on Terror. Activities in Iraq and Afghanistan, past February 2006, total $72.4 billion, $60 billion Iraq War, FY 2007 Department of Defense Appropriations, $70 billion, estimated, for Iraq War-related costs, FY 2007 Emergency Supplemental $100 billion, FY 2008 Bush administration has proposed around $190 billion for the Iraq War on Afghanistan, FY 2009 Obama administration has proposed around $130 billion in additional funding for the Iraq War on Afghanistan. FY 2010 Obama administration proposes around $159.3 billion for the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. It is unclear why no breakdowns are offered on the basis of each war, indirect and delayed costs. According to a Congressional Budget Office report published in October 2007, the U.S. wars in Iraq and Afghanistan could cost taxpayers a total of $2.4 trillion by 2017 when counting the huge interest costs because combat is being financed with borrowed money. The CBO estimated that of the $2.4 trillion long-term price tag for the war, about $1.9 trillion of that would be spent on Iraq, or $6,300 per U.S. citizen. Joseph Stiglitz, former chief economist of the World Bank and winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics, and Linda Bilmes of Harvard University, have stated the total costs of the Iraq War on the U.S. economy will be $3 trillion in a moderate scenario, described in their book The $3 Trillion War and possibly more in the most recent published study, published in March 2008. Stiglitz has stated, "A figure we arrive at is more than $3 trillion. Our calculations are based on conservative assumptions." Needless to say, this number represents the cost only to the United States. It does not reflect the enormous cost to the rest of the world, or to Iraq. A 2013 updated study pointed out that U.S. medical and disability claims for veterans after a decade of war had risen to $134.7 billion from $33 billion 2 years earlier. The extended combat and equipment loss have placed a severe financial strain on the U.S. Army, causing the elimination of non-essential expenses such as travel and civilian hiring. Military equipment lost. The U.S. has lost a number of pieces of military equipment during the war. The following statistics are from the Center for American Progress. And they are only approximations that also include vehicles lost in non-combat related accidents as of 2009. Land equipment, 80 M1 Abrams tanks, 55 M2 Bradley fighting vehicles, 20 Stryker wheeled combat vehicles, 20 M113 armored personnel carriers, 250 Humvees, 500-plus mine-clearing vehicles, heavy-medium trucks, and trailers, 10 assault amphibious vehicles, air equipment. 109 helicopters, 18 fixed-wing aircraft. In June 2006, the Army said that the cost of replacing its depleted equipment tripled from that of 2005. As of December 2006, according to government data reported by The Washington Post, the military stated that nearly 40% of the Army Euro unregistered trademark S total equipment has been to Iraq, with an estimated yearly refurbishment cost of $17 billion. The military states that the yearly refurbishment cost has increased by a factor of 10 compared to that of the pre-war state. As of December 2006, approximately 500 M1 tanks, 700 Bradley fighting vehicles and 1,000 Humvees are awaiting repair in U.S. military depots. UK war costs. As of March 2006, approximately £4.5 billion had been spent by the United Kingdom in Iraq. All of this money has come from a government fund called the Special Reserve, which is a current allocation of £7.4 billion. According to the Ministry of Defence, the total cost of UK military operations in Iraq from 2003 to 2009 was £8.4 billion. As of 2013, UK-Afghanistan war alone cost have been calculated as £37 billion. In June 2010, UK costs exceeded £20 billion for the Iraq and Afghanistan wars combined. See also, Casualties of the Iraq War, Refugees of Iraq, References.